What's going on, fellow Illuminaries and Titan Nation? Welcome back in. I'm lorcana, the Mad Titan of the Illuminary. In today's video, we're doing one of my favorite exercises I do for every set since I've been doing this, and we are ranking every legendary in Reign of Jafar. Now, unlike the prior sets, I have actually tested 10 of the 12 legendaries, so I have a little bit more of an informed opinion. The only ones I haven't tested are Ratigan and Lilo, so that will be based off of speculation, but I do believe I have a good feel for them. I always like to do this early, and then I always like to come back and revisit. Let's go ahead, jump into our tier list, and get started. So here we are on tier list maker. Let's go over the 5 tiers just in case this is your first time viewing one of my rankings. The top tier is Titan tier. This just means it is my personal favorite. Next is meta, cards that I feel will be meta defining. Next is has potential. This is more of that rogue level. Followed by that is could be better. Pretty self-explanatory. And the bottom tier that we always use is it's not Gantu, as a reference to the Gantu legendary from the first chapter. So the first card we're going to start with is one of the two that I said I have not tested, and that is Ratigan Greedy Genius. Ratigan here is a 8-cost character that has 6 strength, 7 willpower, and 4 lore. He is in Sapphire, has ward, and his abilities at the end of the turn. If you have not placed a card into your inkwell this turn, you banish him. So yeah, he has protection. He's beefy, gets a lot of lore, and he's inkable. On the surface, that's all really good. So, because he's in that 8 slot, obviously you can get there pretty quick with Sapphire. I'm going to put him at could be better for right now, just because you're going to have your Tamatoas, and depending on what you pair it with, if that's Ruby, you're going to be running Sisu, and so it just depends on how you pair it. Obviously, if you go Blurple, on your top end, you're going to have Hades, Infernal Schemer, and of course Elsa as well. And so I just don't know if you're going to play him. Maybe a 2 of. Next up, let's go with Mickey Mouse Giant Mouse. So Mickey here is a non-inkable 10 cost with 10 strength, 10 willpower, and 5 lore. He has Bodyguard. His effect is that when he is banished, you deal 5 damage to each opposing character. On the surface, this is all really powerful. So the problem with Mickey is that he can be kind of hard to get out. I have tested him in Steel Fossa, and I most recently shared my Ruby and Steel Fossa list, which you can find in the card up above and in the description down below. Now, Mickey did not make the cut for that, but I did initially test this, and I know people have tried using the Mickey Mouse Legendary from the past set or Cage's Island in order to free play Giant Mouse, because, you know, the prior Legendary Mickey lets you free play something when he destroys something by challenging. Another way you could free play him is using another legendary from Arcadia's Island with the Return of Hercules. That's another way you could go about doing this. And I'm going to say that Mickey could be better. And let's move Gantu up to has potential. I want to go ahead and knock out Sapphire, and let's talk about Stitch Experiment 626. So every time I do this, there's always one legendary that I'm typically wrong about. In this situation, I feel like Stitch is probably going to be that legendary, because I personally am not seeing it. I've tried to play him. He just doesn't do as much as I think a lot of people think he does, but I could be wrong about that. What exactly does Stitch do? So Stitch here is a non-inkable 3 cost that has 3 strength, 3 willpower, and 2 lore. He has 2 effects. The first being that when you play this character, each opponent puts the top card of their deck face down into their inkwell and exerted. That right there is already where one of my issues with this card lies, is I don't see giving your opponents resources as a good thing. His secondary effect is at the start of your turn. If this card is in your discard, you may choose and discard a card with the inkwell symbol to play this card for free, and he enters play exerted. I'm assuming this is a alternative way to mill, is I think why the people that like this card really like it. And then I know I've seen people talk about, like, using something like Ink Geyser as a way to just really ink restrict your opponent. I don't think it's again too bad, but I'm going to put it in could be better. All right, so let's go with the wooden puppet boy, Pinocchio. So Pinocchio is interesting. So he's Pinocchio strings attached. He's a inkable 4-cost character that has 0 string, 4 willpower, and 2 lore with evasive. And he says that once during your turn, whenever you ready this character, you may draw a card. So he has evasive, which a lot of people are running a lot more evasive based characters. So I don't think that's as good as it used to be, but when we didn't have as many evasive characters. And obviously there are effects, especially in Amber, with readying characters. So obviously you can trigger that once per turn, get an additional draw that turn. I'm honestly going to put Pinocchio in could be better and put him in front of Stitch. All right, now let's go with Amber, and we're going to talk about Chief Bogo. So Chief Bogo, Commanding Officer, is a inkable 6-cost character that has 5 string, 5 willpower, and 1 lore. His ability is that during an opponent's turn, whenever one of your characters with Bodyguard is banished, you may reveal the top card of your deck. If that character has a cost of 5 or less, you may play it for free. Otherwise, you put it on top of your deck. Again, as a Mufasa player, I definitely tried this out. It worked some of the time. Obviously, Mufasa is much better at that because Mufasa plays whatever the character is on the top of your deck. I'm going to put Bogo in has potential. And I think the thing with Chief Bogo is that he's going to function a lot better if you build around Bodyguard. And that's going to be the case for one of the other legendaries too. But yeah, so Chief Bogo is going to go and has potential right behind Ratigan. Now let's move on over to Emerald and let's talk about Rapunzel High Climber. So Rapunzel is a inkable 5 cost. She has 2 string, 5 willpower, 2 lore, and evasive. Her ability is whenever this character quests, chosen opposing character can't quest during their next turn. I really love Rapunzel. I think Rapunzel is very good. She definitely goes at least here and has potential, and I may move her up to meta. Let's see how the rest of this list shapes out first. Hey there, so real quick, if you're enjoying the content, if you could do me a massive favor, be sure to like, subscribe, and click that bell so you get notified of when I upload new videos every Tuesday and Friday. And let me know down below what you think of the video. All right, back to the video. Now let's talk about a card that did make my Ruby Fossil list, Tinkerbell Insistent Fairy. So Tink here is a inkable 2-cost Ruby character that has 1 strength, 1 willpower, and 1 lore with evasive. So what she says is that whenever you play a character with 5 strength or more, you may exert them to gain 2 lore. I have stolen games off this, and I have set up for game with this effect. Tinkerbell is definitely a has potential card, but she's at the back end of has potential. Now let's talk about a character that a lot of people were very happy to see come into Disney Lorcana this set, Bambi Little Prince. So Bambi here is a non-inkable 3-cost character in Amethyst that has 1 strength, 1 willpower, and 3 lore. Bambi has 2 effects, the first being that when you play this character, you gain 1 lore, and the second being when an opponent plays a character, you return him back to your hand. So I do think that this is our first meta defining card. Obviously, Amethyst has so much non-interactive lore, with obviously the main one being Merlin Goat and now Giant Cobra. And then you got Honey Marin. Now you've got Bambi. And then you of course have action cards like Gathering Knowledge and Wisdom. So there's just a lot of ways to do that. Bambi is probably going to be a 2-3 of at most in most lists that run Bambi, but I do think that this card has a good bit of potential that will make it meta defining. Now let's talk about the other legendary that I was not able to test with yet, and that is Lilo Causing an Uproar. So Lilo is in Ruby, 5-cost inkable, 4/4 for 2 with 2 effects. The first being that during your turn, if you have played 3 or more actions this turn, you may play her for free. And her secondary effect is when you play this character, ready chosen character, they can't quest for the rest of the turn. Lilo is absolutely meta defining, and we're going to put her in front of Bambi. This card has a ton of potential, even though I haven't gotten to it. I know this card is going to just do a lot of things in the metagame. Now let's talk about a legendary that I am super excited for, and that is Goofy Groundbreaking Chef. Goof here is the inkable 4-cost Glimmer, 3 strength, 4 willpower, and 2 lord. And Goofy's effect says that at the end of your turn, you may remove up to 1 damage from each of your other characters. You ready each character that you removed a damage from this way. So I have done a lot of testing with this guy in Amber Steel decks, in my Steel Fossil list, and this card is just incredible. I really love this card. I think people are sleeping on this card, and I personally would put Goof up into meta defining for now. We can fine tune this list in a little bit. Goof might go into Titan tier, but Goofy is absolutely amazing. And our final 2 legendaries come from the same film, Raya and the Last Dragon. Starting off with Raya. Raya is an Emerald, is a 6-cost inkable character, 5 strength, 5 willpower, and 2 lore. Her ability is that whenever this character quests, you may pay 2 wing to ready another chosen character. I know that a lot of people are really excited to utilize this in Emerald Sapphire, but I think Emerald Steel and Emerald Amethyst has a lot of major applications, and I'm going to put her in has potential until we see more. And I'm going to put her right above Rapunzel for the time being. And our final legendary is, of course, Namari, Single-Minded Rival. Namari is a inkable 5-cost character that has 0 strength and 5 willpower with 2 lore and 2 abilities. The first is that when you play this character, and at the start of your turn, you may draw a card, then choose and discard a card. Second, Namari gains +1 strength for each card in your discard. So this card can potentially get very strong. I have been playing this in my Steel Fossil list, so please go check out that video. And I think using something like Desperate Plan and A Whole New World, plus obviously any sort of discard effect, is going to be very powerful for applying this effect. I cycle through my deck a lot with her, and it's obviously great Chernabog. Feel easy to get Chernabog out and do all kind of stuff. I love Namari. She's my favorite legendary in the set, and I'm putting Namari in Titan tier. Let's reevaluate and condense this down a little bit. See if I want to move anything. For Titan tier, I'm going to leave Namari there and put Goofy up there. For meta defining, I'm going to move Raya up, right here behind Bambi. Rapunzel, Bogo, and do I want to change anything? No, I think that's perfectly fine. So our final standing in the Titan tier, Namari and Goofy. In meta, Lilo, Bambi, Raya. In has potential, Rapunzel, Ratigan, Chief Bogo, Tinkerbell. It could be better, Mickey, Pinocchio, and Stitch. And no one in It's Not Gantu. And there you have it. That is my ranking for the legendaries of Reign of Jafar before set release. As I mentioned in the open, we will go back in a couple weeks time once the meta has kind of settled down a little bit and reevaluate. But I think I got a good feel for this right now. But as always, let me know down below what you think, if something should be higher, something should be lower, or if it's just right where it is. As always, be sure to check out my other Reign of Jafar content that I have here on the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Later. That's going to do it for today's video. Be sure to give me one of these. It's super impactful and helping this video find other Illuminaires such as yourself. If you like the Lorcana content here on the channel and you want to see more, smash that subscribe button and click that bell so you get notified of when I upload new videos every Tuesday and Friday. Also, be sure to let me know down below what you thought of this video, and you can follow me on the artist formerly known as Twitter on X at lorcana, and I'm on Blue Sky as well at lorcana. Thanks for watching, and I think you might enjoy these. And remember, the hardest choices require the strongest wills.